All right, folks, it's Nichols Live, and I am Larry Nichols. I hope we're getting out. I feel safe in believing that we are. Let me give a number right quick for if you know somebody that wants to listen and listen online, 401-283-6754. That's 401-283-6754, and then press 1. Well, today's Thursday. When I get off today's program, I have an hour, and then I've got to do a taping with watchdog.com, Greg Hunter, that he is going to put up. He said it should be up by tomorrow morning. So I'm going to try to hold it together and be able to do that. What's going on today? I mean, what seems to be happening today, if any of you want to know, is seems as though they're out mending fences and trying to find ways to get the people that have talked down about Trump to supposedly look as though they are getting behind the party and therefore support Trump since he is the presumptive standard bearer for the party. First off, I am not certain that he is the standard bearer of the party. Now, I know there are going to be people out there saying, Larry, come on. I mean, the other candidates have dropped out. He's got to be it. Let me tell y'all something. You should have learned by now. You should have learned by now that the whole process that you thought was having to do with the election process turns out to not be. You got it? You can vote till the cows come home for the nominee, but guess what we found out? We found out that it was the delegates. Who are you, right? Who are we? It's the delegates that choose who's going to be the candidate, not us. We found that out. And then I remind you of another thing that's laying out there. Remember 6 days. 6 days. What does that mean? 6 days prior to the 6 days prior to the convention, I was reading the text, 6 days prior to the convention, the Rules Committee meets, and it's there that the determination is made. It's there that the determination is made what the rules will be for this convention. So, I'm not sure. I'm not willing, and I hope you're not, I'm not willing to bet the future of our country on this bunch of liars, this group of the scummiest people you could gather at one place at any time on earth. I'm not willing to. We must be prepared. Seems like here lately all I talk about is things we better be prepared for, and I don't like doing that. I was telling somebody just before the program, go back and listen to anything you've ever heard me say. Go back 20 years to the recordings that are on the internet. You have never heard Larry Nichols tell about you better be prepared, you better be prepared. I've never done that like I've done this past week. I haven't, and I don't like doing it. But the stakes are too great to ignore what is out there. Now let me tell you, we had an old rule in Special Forces. You go walking down a path, and it's loaded with snakes, venomous snakes, all the way along that path. There's no guarantee you'll get bitten. No guarantee. But you better prepare for it, because there's snakes all around you. Be prepared. Well, I don't think there's a path we as Americans could walk down that's any more loaded with snakes, slimy scum than our government. There's not. And that's pretty strong language, I know. But it is true. They will lie to you. They will cheat you. They will cheat us. They'll steal from us. In case you don't know, they have stolen our right to a vote. Oh, we voted. But they told us real strongly, well, you voted, but the delegates make the decision. There was an article that was sent to me yesterday. I didn't read all of it, but I saw some of it, the 57 delegates in Pennsylvania. They told us real quick, well, you think you picked the nominee? We do. We do. Why did we go through in Pennsylvania an election, a primary election in Pennsylvania on the Republican Party side, where the winner got 17 delegates committed to him, the winner, and 54 or however many were open, 54, 57, they're open. They can vote any way they want to. Now, the part nobody's telling you, have you seen one news report on 24-hour news networks where they just go to extremes to bring on pundit after pundit after pundit? Have you heard anybody say, by the way, who are these delegates? I've tried to tell you, delegates aren't us. Not a one of you listening to my voice right now, I believe, would qualify to be a delegate for the Republican Party. I don't think you could even get on the ballot as a delegate. Because to be a delegate, you've got to be a loyal party person. You've got to be a party loyalist all the way to the cliff and over the cliff. That's what you got to be. That's what you got to be. You see, there are two sayings that y'all need to learn. Two. Democrats fall in love and Republicans fall in line. Now, that's been the rule. For as long as I've been alive, that's been the rule. Not as long as I've been alive, but as long as I've been involved with politics going back to the 70s, that's been the rule. How do you like that? And for as long as I have been involved in politics, although a goodly portion of that time I was on the other side, so I was tickled with the way things were. As long as I've been involved in politics, I have known that all this scurrying around and all this voting everybody's done don't mean nothing. Don't mean a thing. It don't mean a thing. It's gotten worse, I think. See, used to, even though the party was stacked, even though it was rigged, they were scared. They were scared to be very bold. There were times when the popular vote versus what the party loyal people, the establishment wanted, were at odds. But the establishment was still a little scared to go against the masses. So they surrendered and gave in. There have been times like that, there have. Now, that came from what you know now, one of the things I guess, preach here on this program, one of the things I preach is remember, that's the key to our success. These people are afraid of one thing and one thing only, and that's losing their job. They don't care about this country. They don't care about you. They don't care about me. They care about their job. Because with that job comes power. And with that power comes the right for them to do anything they want to do. They're not governed by the laws that they create for you and I. No, sir. You may be confused about that, all of you. Congressman, sitting senator, they don't have to worry about these laws they create. As long as they're a sitting congressman and senator, they don't have to worry about it because they're not governed by them. They're governed by an ethics committee. An ethics committee made up of their peers. How do you like that? Now, where we do have a vote, this is why the party establishment in the presidential primary has always been weighed out a little different. We do have a vote in who your congressman's going to be and who your senator's going to be. We do have a vote there. There's not one of these committee rule things that get you. But what they've always had at that level, let me tell you the rules there. We haven't talked about it. I guess I need to tell you the rest of the story, huh? Let me tell you the rest of the story. You want to be a United States Senator, a United States Congressman. And you want to run as a Republican or a Democrat. All right, if you're going to run as a Democrat, you've got to sign a loyalty oath before you can get on the ballot, loyalty oath. And that loyalty oath pledges your allegiance to the Democratic Party and members of that party above any and all things other. That means above the Constitution, by the way. The Republican Party's not that formal. They don't make you sign a document, but you got to make a sworn oath. Now, they have learned throughout the years that an incumbent congressman or senator, learn this, write this down. If you're an incumbent and nobody's going to run against you, somebody other than the incumbent, do you know that the person running against the incumbent must raise 1.5 times the amount of money that the sitting congressman or senator has in their war chest just to get even with name ID? 1.5 times. Now, when you're not a congressman or a senator sitting on a committee that affects all these different businesses, it's kind of hard to raise that kind of money unless you're Donald Trump. Kind of hard to raise that kind of money. And that's why the incumbent always seems to win. Always. Used to be. Always. But see, people are starting to get fed up. I wish people would have started getting fed up years ago, but they didn't. You know why? You know why? Because it didn't affect them. It didn't affect most people. Hey, most people don't even know who their congressmen or senators are. They don't know. They don't know. Still today, they don't know. But you see now with Obamacare, it's ripping at every home in America. Every middle-class average American's home is being ripped apart. Take it from me, I know. Ripped apart by Obamacare. Insurance premiums through the roof. And guess what? Guess what happens in November? Do you know what super rate means? Super rate. I bet you don't. Because you got to run in the circles on the inside of the loop to know what that means. super rate. You see, the super rate increase is what's coming in health care in November. You think your health care premiums now have gone up 100%, 1,200%, whatever they've gone up. You think they've gone up. Wait until November, because they've even got a name for it inside. If you're an inside person, they've got a name for it, the super rate increase. That's when that puppy is going to go through the roof. And you think your insurance is high now? Wait till then. Now, they've timed it to where this super rate is not going to take place right at Election Day in November. It's not going to take place right at Election Day in November. That's Ralph. He's kind of throwing up. Sorry, buddy. Don't be sick on me. It's not going to happen then. It'll happen towards the middle of the end of November, so you'll have plenty of time to make a mistake in voting for whomever you're going to plan to vote for. But when that super rate increase hits, folks, you just got to cut and pay if you still have a job. If you still have a job, you just took a serious cut and pay. And nobody even knows it's coming. Nobody but you. Then, in case you don't know, the insurance companies are squealing like stuck hogs. And they're saying, oh, golly gee, even with the rate increases we've had, we're losing money. We're losing money. Did y'all know, I better check the text, as I'm sorry, I've been running my mouth here. Pardon me, forgive me. Did y'all know? Let me read a thing, hold on. Something about Fort Worth. I don't know, Greg, what you're talking about there. Please forgive me. And then I have Alden has sent $10, bless his heart. Alden has kicked off PayPal. By the way, it's time for the first commercial. I need your help, if you will. One person has sent to PayPal. I'm not going to belabor the point. I'm kind of tired of begging. I'm kind of tired of bothering y'all. I do not mean to bother y'all. If you can help, please go to PayPal, Nichols Live at AOL.com. Today is a maintenance day, it's $500. Tomorrow's $800. Please help if you can. Yesterday, just so you know, and I apologize for this, there were a couple of times yesterday on the air when I was talking, if you noticed, maybe you didn't, I blacked out a couple of times actually doing the show. It wasn't for long, apparently. It was just for a few seconds, but it was pretty scary. Just blacked out. When I got off the program, I immediately called. They wanted to send an ambulance. I didn't take an ambulance. I went over there. But anyway, with all the work they've done on putting these ports in for the IVs, apparently maybe a clot broke loose. So I'm sorry if I bothered you yesterday. If there was a time when it happened, I was a little bit disoriented, so forgive me. Maybe it won't happen today, I hope. But if you can, please help. And let's don't get down to the last minutes. That's so uncomfortable, so uncomfortable. Now, back to where I was. Let me tell you what's coming. Let me tell you. The insurance companies are screaming. They're saying, we're losing money. Did you know in Obamacare, there is a provision that if the insurance companies lose money, that they can come to the government and get it. Guaranteed. Get it. They don't even have a problem. Just go to the government and get it. It's there. So now, we're going to have to pay for what the insurance companies have lost from our government giving them the money that they've lost. I was a bit offended. There was a lady on Fox News who is a Democrat pundit, whatever they call her, a Democratic pundit. And she was talking about healthcare, and she was talking about, golly, you know, the rates are going to go up in November really high. And she said, and, you know, and I don't know why people are upset because the host on the program said, but, you know, they said that insurance premiums would drop as much as $2,000, and that turned out to be a lie. And you know what that Democratic pundit lady said? Ellen said you could keep your doctor, and that's turned out not to be true. You know what she said? Well, anybody should have known. Simple math. I'm not even talking about knowing economics. Simple math. People could have known. There was no way you're going to cover all these people and your insurance policies not go up. Oh, golly, that is not what was being said in the day. I assure you, that was not what all the Democrats and many Republicans were saying in that time. They weren't saying that at all. They were filling us full, you know, filling us full of, you'll keep your doctor. Remember Obama sitting there in his State of the Union speech, in case you've forgotten? There he was in his State of the Union speech, standing up and saying, oh, golly, people are saying that if, you know, Obamacare, that you'll lose your doctor. You can lose your doctor, he said. That's just a lie. Then he said, you know, and that your insurance will go up. It won't go up, he told us. And then you had, I'm letting Ralph out. He's my crippled bulldog, so it's a little bit of a thing I have to do to help him. He can't walk very well, but he's my buddy. Then you had Pelosi. When somebody dared to say, well, you know, I don't think this makes sense. And then they had a 20,000 page bill, whatever pages it was, and you know what they said? You got to sign it and pass it before you can read it. And we voted. Can you believe we voted one of the senators or congressmen back in office that did that to us? Huh? Can you believe it? We did. There was one other thing that Democrat pundit said that I thought was so important. Sorry about being out of breath, walking takes it from me. One other thing she said, well, let me rephrase that. The host said, you know, the rich can pay this insurance premium increase. They probably have, you know, the money to pay. The poor, they're getting what they think is insurance free. But the whole burden of this insurance is on the middle class working person. And the Democratic pundit said, well, sure, people should have known that. I tell you that story because a sane person has got to say, well, with that passed, since everybody, including Ralph, my bulldog, knew that this wasn't going to work, how then did almost every member of Congress and every member of the Senate that ran that next year get elected? How'd they get reelected? Maybe there were one or two or a few that fell. Most did not. Well, that's back to how it's rigged. Number one, I told you the money angle. If you're running against an incumbent, you got to have 1.5 times the amount of money they got just to get even in name ID. Now, the money they got, by the way, you need to know, you're listening to a guy right here, me, that conducted for years orientation acclimation. Orientation acclimation. That's when, oh, by the way, thank you, Carla. We got 10 from Carla. Thank you, dear. Thank you. And then I've got something to tell at the next commercial that Alden's willing to do to help. So I'll tell that, Alden. Guys, you know about the money. You got to have 1.5 times. But remember, a sitting congressman, sitting senator, when I taught them in orientation acclimation, when they'd come in, I'd say, now, guys, here are the bathrooms. Here's your staff. Here's this, and this. Now, here's what you got to do. 8 hours a day you must use to raise money. And somebody might dare say, well, wait a minute. If I spend 8 hours a day raising money, when do I get to do the congressional work? It don't matter about that. That'll be done for you by lobbyists and your staff. You raise money. Then I would tell them another little story. I'd say, you know, Mr. Congressman or Senator, I'd say, you know, you got a lot of people in your district that love you. And they'll probably give, do you think they'd give maybe $5, $10 a piece to help you get reelected starting now? You're going to have to work awfully, awfully hard to get enough people to give you $1, $5, $10. You're going to have to work awfully hard. May I give you a better way? Lobbyist. You see, you can get with a lobbyist, and between a lobbyist and the PACs that a lobbyist controls, hey, you come to me, I can raise you $100,000 in 10 seconds. You come to me, I can raise you $1 million in a half a day. Which would you rather have? Sending out letters, going and calling and talking to all these little peons, or do you want to really get the money you got to have to win? Plus, you tell them the story about the guy that's going to run against you's got to have 1.5 times more money than you do to run. So guess what? The more money you build in your war chest, starting now, 2 years in advance of the election, starting now, 2 years, you'll have so much money, it will be impossible for somebody to run against you and raise enough money to even get close to having the name association, name awareness. See how it works? Rigged. I guess you could say that's sort of legal rigging. Unlike the presidential primary, that's at least sort of legal rigging. But I'll bet not a one of you out there knew when you voted for your congressman that you voted for that congressman to go to Washington and spend 8 hours of his day that you're paying for to raise money for his next election. Did you? Did you? No. You see, this system has been so far bad that nobody thought about it. Then I turned. And when I turned, I knew the cost. I can't tell you I didn't. I knew it. I knew everything in my life would end, and it did. And I knew that the media was in on it, Washington was in on it, everybody's in on it, and I'd be trying to tell it, and nobody would even get to hear me talk. I knew it. But I thought that if I tried hard enough, if I was walking with the will of God, something would present itself, and it did. It was called talk radio back in a time when talk radio really wasn't out there. Talk radio sufficed back in that day. But you know, today God's provided us another vehicle. It's not talk radio this time. It's the internet. It's the internet. And so now, here we are, me and you. We've got a story to tell and a job to do. And we're going to do it. We are going to do it. And I would measure a form of victory. I'd measure a form of victory that all of our efforts in calling those 4 people, senators and congressmen, and telling them to pass the word, which they did, and the numbers I have found out are staggering, the number of people called. And I can also tell you that verification for 3 different places, they're mad at Hornet, it's me, at me. They're mad at me, they're trying to find some legal way to get me. But you scared them. And that has gone a long way in preventing some of the tricks they planned to use or could have used on Trump. And so there's a chance today that we have Donald Trump as the presumptive nominee, maybe even the Republican Party candidate. In part because of what you did, all of you. And I thank you for that. Now, back to commercial time. Let me tell you what we have. Alden has got, y'all think about it, he's got 30 CDs of my songs, 30 of them. And he's gone to the trouble to make CDs, the whole 9 yards, he's got 30 of them. And if you want one of the CDs, if you want one of these actual CDs, if you'll pay the shipping, the cost of the CD and everything. So anybody that will make a donation of $20, he'll send, we've only got 30, he'll send it to you. He will send you the CD. We've got 30. I'm not selling them. I mean, it's just to try to reimburse him for his time, and then whatever's left from his time, and he's going to give me the rest. Okay? So, if you want a CD, send $20 or whatever you want to donate to PayPal. But when you send it to PayPal, make sure I know that you sent it and you want one of the CDs. And then we'll get you can go to Larry Nichols Live on YouTube. He's got a place there where you can see. But if you want one, I'm just saying, if you want one. There's only 30. There won't be 31. There's 30. And that'll be the last music I guess I do, ever. But it is proof. That's the reason I did that music. It's proof that I did exist. And there was a me beyond war, politics. There was a side of me that nobody knew. My getaway. And the music I picked were classic songs that I would have never dreamed I would ever get to sing. What a Wonderful World, Somewhere Over the Rainbow. And others, I was a rock and roll guitarist. I never did music like that. And then I wanted to play a classical guitar instead of an electric rock and roller. I wanted to play a classical guitar. And I did. So, if you want the last thing I'll ever musically do, there's 30 of them sitting there. So, that, if that'll help you be a reason to send $20, please do it. Please do. We've got $20 of the 500, so we're 480 away. 480 away. 26 minutes to get there. So, you see how the system has just been rigged? It's been rigged. It's been rigged since day one. Didn't have a chance. You were outnumbered and surrounded You thought you were doing your civic duty, and you never had a chance. Well, folks, I'm going to tell you those days are over. You have a chance today. You have a chance today. And we're not going to let it go. We are not going to let it go. Yes, I got Janine. Certainly you will get a CD, Janine, certainly. One's gone. Janine's got one. Carla, you got one. One's gone. Two's gone. Look, these CDs, they're for my friends. You're my friends. We're in this together. We're in this together, and I consider y'all friends. Very, very important friends of mine. And I will promise you this, and I will swear this the day I stand before my Lord and Savior. I value y'all more than all of the most powerful people in Washington, D.C. that I have had around me. Carla, I got you one. Don't worry, you got one. I value you all, one and all. Bob, you've got one coming, by the way. Just want to let you know. You see how we've been outnumbered and surrounded? Now, the average human being is going to sit here and say, holy smokes, we can't change this. Well, I'm going to show you we can. I'm going to show you that we can. We're going to do it right here, you and I. We're going to do it. Now, I got to tell you some numbers. The RNC has got a tactical strategy they plan to implement. If you've got a pencil and paper, a pen and paper, I always say pencil and paper, but I know today it's a pen. Nobody keeps a pencil around. But anyway, there is a rule. If Hillary is the nominee on the Democratic side, and let's say Bernie Sanders decides to run third party, liberal against liberal, here's a number you must know. For Bernie Sanders to cause Hillary to get enough votes so that Hillary cannot win, he must get 13 to 14% of the votes cast in the election. You got that? Do you understand what I said? He's got to draw enough votes from Hillary so that she cannot beat, in this case, if Trump's it, she can't beat Trump. He's got to get 13 to 14% of the votes cast. So he'd be like Hillary 30 and Sanders 14 and Trump 51 or whatever. I mean, that's what it's got to be. He's got to get 14%. Conversely, let's just say if Ted Cruz decides to mount a third-party race and run as an independent, dragging votes from Trump and the RNC, he only has to get 6%. 6%, and Trump cannot possibly win against Hillary. Now, did y'all write that down? These numbers are going to become significant, important. They're going to be the key to Pandora's box. A third-party Democrat splitting the liberal vote must get 14% to knock Hillary out of the victory. But a conservative need only get 6% to knock Trump out of the victory. Now that you know it, since I told you, you need to know that the RNC knows it. The establishment of the RNC know that very thing right there. What do you think they're going to do, y'all? Huh? What do you think they're going to do? How many? I just got a thing here. Larry, can you take MasterCard? Would love to have one. Haven't found a way to pay. PayPal account yet. I'll figure a way. Call me. Maybe just send a check would be fine if that would be acceptable. Well, this is something. Larry, can you get a copy of me of your book, The Genie Out of the Bottle? I would like. All right. In my car, I found 4 books, The Genie's Out of the Bottle. I promise you, they were in my car. Actually, it's my mother's car that I drive. I'll pay you $100 just for your signed copy, plus whatever the expense to ship it. You don't have to do that. You don't have to. But I got 4 I found. I guess this is garage sale day, right? The RNC knows what I just told you. What do you think they're going to do? Huh? What do you think the RNC's up to? You see, they could take a candidate. I'm going to use Cruz just as a name. I don't know that he would be it, but I'm going to use him as a name. They could take Cruz. Now, when you're running as a third party, here's the reality. You've got to be on the ballot in 38 states. 38. To possibly be able to win. 38 states, minimum, to possibly be able to win. Starting now, due to the requirements to get on the ballot in 38 states, especially the states that have the electoral votes, which is another whole scam, we'll get to that later, but to get the electoral college votes you got to have the certain 38 states. Now, the 38 states to jump in now is kind of hard to do. Wait a minute, this is one that says, Larry, my boss is a millionaire and fears Hillary winning. Can you make a video or direct me to a video showing him why funding you is our best bet? I'll take care of all expenses. Thanks. And I'm not going to say your name. Let me see what I can do. You've all got my phone number, 440-897-0611. Questions like that, you can call me, please. You're certainly welcome to call. Gosh, I don't even know where I was. I lost my track. That's why sometimes reading the text kind of messes me up. Oh, talking about how they could do it. Now, let's say Cruz is the person. Cruz is the person. Well, they can use PACs, which are actually Republican organizations. They can use PACs because PACs funding, they don't have to tell nobody nothing. They can do anything they want to do, raise what they want to do. Nobody has a right to ask a PAC anything. Thank you, John McCain. So they can take some of their PACs and they can funnel money to the third-party candidate in this hypothetical using the name Cruz. And Cruz has got the money to run an aggressive campaign. No, he cannot get on the ballot in 38 states, but he doesn't have to. Why does he not have to? I told you 38 states, and they've got to be the right 38 states, electoral college-wise, to win. But what if you just got to get 6% of the vote? Just 6% of the vote. I got the question here. How can we know the delegates are fair? Won't the people be angry if Trump is denied? Yeah, people be angry, but what, listener, what are you going to do about it? See, that's the problem. Who are you going to call? Remember those Ghostbusters? Who you going to call? Who you going to call if you're angry about it? That ain't the way you beat them. Ain't nobody you can call. Ain't nobody you can call. I'm going to ask you to believe one thing. The rest of it, folks, you can call me a liar, call me scum. It don't matter what you call me. It don't. But I'm going to ask you to believe this. I have spent a third of my life waiting for this day. A third. Help me. I have nothing to say to give you confidence. I'm not going to lie to you about it. I have nothing to say to give you confidence that I can make that big of a difference. I can't. I can say, well, of the 38 major scandals that led to Bill Clinton being impeached, 37 of them came from me. I can prove it. Clinton wrote about me in his own memoirs, which you wouldn't have thought. I mean, I can say that, but in this business, you're only as good as your last trick. Just because you did something once don't mean you can do it again. They weren't ready then. They weren't ready for me then. They'll be ready for me this time. You don't think they have people listening to me right now? You betcha. You bet. You don't think they're going to come at me with everything they got? Had to let Ralph in, so y'all sorry about the noise, and I picked up the phone instead of the other thing, so my sound dropped off. Forgive me, stupid mistake on my part. You see? Now, here's a question from a listener. Now that Hillary will go versus Trump, when are you going to come out with the stuff to blow her away? You mentioned on rents. That's a good question. That's a good question, listener. And I'm going to answer it the only way I know how to answer it, and I do not mean this as tough as it sounds, but you better hear it this way. I will do it on my time when I'm ready. This is not something y'all get a vote on. You don't get to vote on this. My neck's out there. I'll do it. I'll do it my way. I've told you. That's a journey I got to go on. Y'all don't get to go on that one. You can watch it. Hopefully you'll be right here. You'll be the first to see it. But it's my journey alone. You don't even want to go on the journey I'm going to go on. I don't even think they got words yet invented to describe how I will be slandered, how I will be demonized. I don't even think there are words for that. But I will promise you this. This I do say to you. I say this, I don't know how you're going to take it, so I wish you would take it right. I just don't know how to say it so you'll take it right. But there's nothing they're going to accuse me of doing that I haven't done. Nothing. Nothing. Got a text here. Can you send me a signed picture of you? Larry, you're a special friend, and I will always remember you. You mean so much to our family. That's awful sweet. No, I don't have a picture of me. I'm not very photogenic at all. Yeah, I didn't hear you because I didn't take the iPad when I went to let Ralph in. Sorry, I know. And then one thing here, I wish I can see you speak at a Trump rally. Is this possible? It is crucial, he says. You'll never see that. You'll never see that. You just won't. I wish you could. I wish you could, but you won't. You know, because, guys, I'm too much of a scumbag to the political system. I am not worthy of speaking. I'm not worthy. I'm not worthy. Oh well. You won't see it, listener, and I'm sorry. I will do what I say I will do. I didn't waste a third of my life for this day just to blow it. However, I have no guarantee it will work. Larry, what if they come after you before the info comes out? Will it all take throat slitting for this country? If they come after me before this comes out, it will come out automatically then. And I hate to say it this way, but I got to say it this way. If I die a strange death, the stuff I have will have weight beyond that which I can bring it with me being alive. And they know it. Matter of fact, I've warned them, kill me, and you will have accomplished everything I wanted to do. You will have made what I have to say even bigger than it would be in life. I don't think that's the way they will go about it. I think in my present health condition, I'm at risk, certainly. Some of you, when that email went out telling people I really wasn't sick and how I was not in the hospital, just so you know, I bounce in and out of the hospital. No, I don't stay in that hospital, and I don't go at a regular time. For the very reason, when I'm there, they can do anything they want to do to me, and I'd never even know it a lot of times. So no, I go at different times. If you know my racket, you understand you don't follow a pattern. It says here from the listener, you shouldn't be afraid to speak, though. How can you say Trump has to talk to you when you won't go speak to him? I'd speak to him any day of the week, listener. It's not me. It's him. Not me. Well, guys, I want to say one thing. Here we are. Have 8 minutes left. And we're $480 away from the treatment. $480 away from the treatment. Guess that says a lot, don't it? Guess that says a lot. $480, where's it going to come from? The thing I've got to do, now you know, 14 points is what it takes to defeat Hillary. 14 points is what it takes. Here's the last thing I've got to read because I'm out of time. What is stopping you from speaking at a rally besides your health? When I heard you sing, you seemed pretty healthy to walk or travel. When you heard me sing, that was a couple years ago. It ain't that way now. And I'll tell you, caller, if he wanted me to speak at a rally, I'd grab my oxygen tank and I would forego everything I got to do. And if I had to crawl to get there on that stage, I would crawl. And I believe Mr. Trump would have the finances available to make sure that the health care I needed could go with me. But he will not call. So don't you get it in your head that it's me for any reason, listener, for any reason that would stop me from speaking with Trump. Don't you go there. You call me anything you want to call me, but don't you go there. Now, I'll do what I said I'll do if I'm able. You hear me today. That's because I've gotten the treatments on schedule. I don't get the treatments tomorrow, it don't look so good. And then tomorrow, I got to have the weekends work, and it don't look so good. I don't have it. We don't have it. And if I can't come on, I'm not coming on. I'm not going to do what I did last Tuesday or whatever day it was. I'm not going to do that again. That's not fair to you, and it's damn sure not fair to me. So, if you want to help me, and there's an awful lot of you listening, an awful lot, and there's a very, very few that have actually helped. Very, very few. There's an awful lot that could, I think, if you wanted to, put some skin in the game. Please, somebody help. $480. $480. I don't have stuff to sell. These CDs, we're going to try to get rid of those. The books, I got 4 of those. I don't have much to sell. I don't have anything. Also, can the Rife machine, I don't know what a Rife machine is, help you heal so you don't have to depend on money? I don't know what a Rife machine is. I don't know what it is. I don't have one. And I don't have the money to get one. I don't know. We've looked for miracles, y'all, for 3 years. We've looked for miracles. They just haven't come. It's a miracle I'm here doing what I'm doing. What am I saying? I'm not going to say I haven't seen miracles. I've seen them. I'm living it. I'm living it. And here's the miracle I asked for today. Here's the miracle I look for today. 480. And it ain't come, and we're about to go up there in 3 minutes. So, folks, remember the numbers that I have given you today. Please, they are significant. They are very, very important. These numbers, the stuff I have told you today is very significant, very important. Remember, 13 to 14% is what a third-party liberal candidate has to draw from Hillary to make her lose. 6% all a third-party conservative candidate's got to draw from Trump to make him lose. The Republican Party don't want Trump to get it, and if you've heard some of the people that have actually said it, there are people that have actually said they'd rather Hillary get it than him. You've actually heard Republicans say they would rather vote for Hillary. They would rather vote for Hillary. One last message. We've done what we can. Trump knows about you. He knows what you want and knows you want to talk to him. That's true. Hey, ball's out of our court now. It is out of our court. We guys with 2 minutes left. I don't know what to tell you. Today is the first day we failed. The first day we failed. That's bad. So, with that, with a minute to go, all I can tell you is I'm trying to do my part. If you can help, do it now. With that, this is Nichols Live. Remember what we talked about today, and I will be on tomorrow on camera with Greg Hunter, watchdog.com. See you tomorrow, hopefully.